Hello, hello, hello. So we are live, and I am trying to find the comments. So if anyone says anything, I can see it and respond. But so far, oh, there it is. Okay, okay. Now, if I can do this on my phone, that would be amazing. Thank you for bearing with me. This is new for me, and I'm just learning how to do this streaming stuff. And honestly, it should be much easier than it is. And somebody, please make it easier than it is. Somebody out there who knows how to do these things. Please make it easier because this is crazy. And it looks like it's still saying starting soon. So I hope that I'm actually live. But I'll go ahead and get started anyway. So yeah, um, hi. Welcome to Tuesdays with Teresa. I am Teresa Durham, owner of Teresa Durham LLC, and I have 25 years experience helping organizations to solve problems and reach their goals via project management, process improvement, and operational assistance. I'm well versed in the business world. So, with the advent of AI, I felt this was a pivotal moment in time. The invention of the iPod, you know, the microwave. If you're as old as I am, you remember when the microwave came about and we got a microwave, or cable. Remember when cable came about and I mean, it was the ish. It was the thing. I think we were one of the first ones on our block to have cable when it was a box and you just kind of zip it down up and down the channels. That was a game changer. Um, the PC, when the PC came about and everybody could have a computer in their home, or putting cameras on phones. I remember the the phones you could carry, but a camera, I'm like, who wants a camera on their phone? I didn't want one. But who knew I'd become the selfie queen? Who knew I'd start taking selfies? Um, you know, but yeah, so those are just some things that in my lifetime that change the way we live. And I think AI is like that. So it's changing the way we work and live. And I don't want you to sleep on opportunities that could be slapping you in the face right now at this moment. So I'm doing this 10-week series to get you interested and involved in AI. It's not too late. So join me and let's make this a conversation. We can make it a conversation if I can ever see the comment screen. So hopefully I'll figure that out before this session is over. So I'd like to know what you're thinking and how you're feeling about uh, AI. This is a safe space. We're not going to make fun of you or whatever, how much you know or don't know. So feel free to ask, your questions as they come up. So today I'm just going to give you a brief introduction on artificial intelligence. Um, let's unravel the mysteries of AI and explore its evolution and speculate on its future, right? So it should be fun. So let's go. Here are the things that we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about what AI is. We're going to go through some definitions because it's important that we know what we're talking about when we use these acronyms and throw these words around when referring to AI. I'm going to give a brief history of AI. I'm not going to do a deep dive. We're going to talk about what's happening with AI today, how AI learns. So, not only telling you what it is, but how it works. We're going to talk about the future of AI and speculate on it. We're going to talk about myths versus reality. So, some of those things that you've heard, we're going to talk about whether it's true or not. And then we're also going to talk about engaging with AI, which is why I'm here. I want you to get involved. I want you to engage with AI. So let's jump into the first thing. So what is AI, right? Artificial intelligence, AI for short. Um, in its simplest form, it's a field of computer science focused on creating machines that are capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. Um, this includes learning, reasoning, and adapting. You know, things that we humans do with our minds. And if we delve deeper, we start hearing about terms like machine learning, uh, deep learning, neural networks. These are the building blocks that allow AI to learn from data, make decisions, and improve over time. And those three things are what's important to AI. So before we get deeper into that, let's look at some definitions and get clear on what some of these things mean. So I just talked about artificial intelligence, right? AI, it's the simulation of intelligence and human intelligence in machines. It's make a machine making you think it's human. We've got machine learning or ML. It's a subset of AI where machines learn from data. So machine learning is learning in air quotes. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't think you can see me because my camera's not on. Anyway, it's learning. I'm doing air quotes. Learning by taking in all this data, right? Machine learning. Then you've got deep learning. It's a machine learning technique that teaches computers to learn by example. So you see how this is building on itself? You've got artificial intelligence, right? Simulation of human intelligence and machines. Then you've got machine learning, which is a subset of AI. Then you've got deep learning, which is a machine learning technique. Okay? Neural networks. It's computing systems that vaguely were inspired by neural networks in the human brain. So if you took health or any type of physiology and you went over the nervous system and you looked at the brain, if you recall, it's like this whole mesh. Really, the nervous system is like a mesh network throughout your whole body, right? So you've got these neurons firing off these electrical pulses and they're going where they need to go to make your body do what it needs to do. And the head is the central nervous is the head is the headquarters of the central nervous system, and that's where it all kicks off. So the neural networks are computing systems that are inspired by the neural networks within our human brain. Large language models, or LLMs, you've probably heard this as well. It's advanced models capable of understanding and generating human like text. So if you think about like these chatbots, um, we're able to talk to them in human language now, human English language. We can say, hey, chatbot, um, read me a poem in the style of, uh, I don't know, Eddie Murphy. And then it'll come back with uh, a poem similar to the style of Eddie Murphy, right? So, sorry, my phone is ringing here. So, back in the day, if you remember, especially again, Gen X, if you recall when we were in school, they had computer math. It was called computer math. Computer math? I'm pretty sure it was called computer math. And in that class, you learned how to do these formulas to talk to machines, computers, and tell them what to do. You had to speak their language. Software developers know how to speak the language, speak certain languages that computers can understand to get the results that they want. The key on the large language models is that it understands human like text, how we talk to other people. You're able to use those words and talk to this large language model, and it understands and it's able to respond in kind. So that's what the large language model is. um, Natural language processing, that's what it does, the ability of the machine to understand human language as it's spoken. So an LLM can do NLP, if that makes sense, right? It can understand human language as it's spoken or written. Okay, generative pre-trained transformer or GPTs. I have never heard the word, what it stood for. So there you have it. Generative pre-trained transformers. That's GPTs. It's a large language model or LLM designed to generate human-like text in response to a prompt. Okay, so Chat GPT. That's exactly what it does, right? So you can talk to Chat GPT, you type words like you're talking to someone, and then it responds to you in words in a way that you can understand. You'll probably be hearing a lot more about GPTs if you haven't already. ChatGPT has a GPT store, and that's basically, where people are focusing in on the GPTs that do specific things for you. So let's say ChatGPT is, oh, it's wide open. You could go to ChatGPT and ask it to do this, that, or the other. But a specific GPT will put up guardrails. It will give you something specific that it's been designed for. So let's say you have a GPT that helps you lose weight. So that GPT will be set up with potential questions, guiding you to give it the information it needs to feedback, what it is you're looking for, or the questions that you present to it, the queries that you give it. It will respond back to you uh, with regard to the particular topic it was modeled for. So anyway, I'm going too deep. I don't need to go deeper into that. We can talk about that at another time. One of the other definitions is generative adversarial networks. Easy for me to say, right? Generative adversarial networks, or GANs. It's a class of machine learning frameworks where two networks contest with each other. Um, that sounds like fun, right? I don't know. I just got a picture of a gladiator arena, and two GANs are in the middle with their, I don't know, AI machinery, getting ready to contest with each other. That's my imagination. Don't mind me. And finally, reinforcement learning. It's a type of machine learning where an algorithm learns to behave in an environment by performing actions and seeing the results. So this is like learning by doing, right? Its learning is reinforced by what it does, the actions it takes, and what those results are. Um, yeah, I mean, it's like how we learn, right? So yeah, that's reinforcement learning. So all these definitions will help you as you do more reading, or you hear more about AI and they use these terms. A lot of them, they use them interchangeably. It gets a little confusing, especially the words on the first page, the large language model, AI, chat GPTs, all those things. So hopefully this will help you as you move forward to understand what some of these things mean and what they're talking about when you read them. So let me take a pause here, and I'm going to see if I can see the chat and see if I'm missing anything anyone's saying. Nope, we're good. We're good. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. So a brief history. hmm, a brief history of AI. So let's get into AI's fascinating history. Um, Sorry, I didn't mean to sound like I didn't really care. I do care. It's I was just being silly. Anyway, so these are some key milestones uh, about how AI came about from the 1950s to today. So in 1950, this guy Turing did a test He proposed the question of a machine's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior equivalent to or indistinguishable from that of a human. So, if a machine could trick a human into thinking it's human by its responses, then that's intelligence. So, he ran that type of test in 1950. This Weizenbaum chatbot in 1964. Weizenbaum built this computer that could chat basically. He was chatting with a computer in 1964. In 1997, some of these things you guys have probably seen in the news, right? I know I remember reading about this computer that just devastated this guy in chess. There was a guy who was a world chess champion, and he played against a computer, and the computer beat him. In 1997, that computer's name was Deep Blue. That was artificial intelligence. Siri, Siri being in your iPhones. I'm not an iPhone user. I'm an Android user. I just prefer Android, so whatever. But yeah, Siri came about in 2011, and remember how excited everyone was to be able to talk to their phone. Siri, people falling in love with Siri, and Siri do this, do that. It was a big deal. Also in 2011, you guys remember Watson on Jeopardy? The computer Watson being on the game show Jeopardy, and he beat out human contestants. That was a big deal in 2011. And then in 2014, Alexa came about. And I don't know why, I just felt like Siri was around the same time as Alexa. I knew she was before, but I didn't realize it was 3 years before. It seems like we were talking to them all at the same time. We had what? So Siri, Galaxy. Uh, what was Samsung's guy's name? Oh, I can't remember. Darn it, I can't remember. Anyway, Samsung had a guy other than Galaxy. There was Alexa, and we had them all talking to each other. Oh, Microsoft had one too, Cortana. I think Cortana was Microsoft's. So yeah, so all these things came about, and we were having fun talking to it. But then in 2022, ChatGPT was made available to the public, and then we started hearing the scary stories, right? You guys remember hearing about, artificial intelligence told some guy to leave his wife. you know, um, Artificial intelligence got on the internet and started cussing and doing racial stuff, and they had to turn it off. Right? All the scary stuff. Ooh, the artificial intelligence was doing started coming out in 2022. So anyway, and then here we are today, 2024, and AI is all the rage. It's showing up everywhere. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey. So let's look around us, right? Like I said, AI is everywhere. It's very much a part of our daily lives. We talked about Siri and the other assistants on our phones. Um, spam filters in your email. Um, Trying to think of some other suggestions. What can you guys think of? Can you think of some things that are uh, that AI is involved in today that you just, I mean, we just live with it. We don't think twice about it because it's part of our everyday. Can you think of anything? Okay, so how about we talked about the smartphone assistants, recommendation system. So let's say on LinkedIn. So you're on LinkedIn and you have this list of people in your network. And then over to the right, it'll say, here's some people that you might want to connect with based on your network. We're making some suggestions or recommendations of people that you might want to connect with. Um, we've all made jokes about, I was talking to my friend about needing some, I don't know, some new shoes. And then next time I got on Facebook, I'm seeing all these shoe ads. Or, or I was doing some research on lights for my garden, landscape lights. And then, next thing I know on Google, all these ads are popping up about landscapes and landscape design and lights and all this stuff. So I can't say, I can't speak to how the phones hear you, but yeah, that's a recommendation system. Hey, based on your shopping, we recommend these things. Based on your search, we recommend these products. That's AI. The autonomous vehicles, I can't think of where it is. Somewhere out west, they've been running these autonomous vehicles, and they're like Uber. You can order one, and then it just rolls up on you, and you get in, and it drives you to where you need to go. Gives you some little entertainment in the back seat while you're waiting, and it's really interesting. I've seen some videos of it on social media. That's AI. Um, and of course, the AI in the uh, what is Tesla? Tesla. A lot of the things that those cars do, that's from AI. And of course, the chat bots. We've got Chat GPT from OpenAI. We've got what else do we have? They've implemented AI in Microsoft Bing, and the what's that new thing they have? You have to pay for. Anyway, whatever it is, it's an assistant. It's AI. Um, Google had Bard, but they replaced Bard with Gemini. That's a chatbot. You've got Claude. Claude has just been updated and it's awesome. So Claude is another chatbot. So those three, I think, most well-known chatbots are ChatGPT, Gemini from Google, and Claude from what is it? Audacity? Think it's Audacity. I can't remember what it's called. But those are the three top chatbots. Then you've got Perplexity, which is a chatbot that's really good for research. So yeah, you got lots of chatbots out there. Then you've got the little chatbots on people's pages when you go. When you need some assistance, and they're in the bottom corner, and there's this AI picture of someone smiling, asking, "How can I help you today?" Chatbots. So yeah, AI is all around us. There's no escaping it. Resistance is futile. Okay, so let's talk about how does AI learn? How does it how does it how do it know, right? One of the most intriguing aspects of AI is its ability to learn, right? But how does it learn? It starts with data, loads of data, and the data feeds algorithms that recognize patterns and make predictions. The more data AI receives, the better it becomes at its tasks. So this process is akin to how we learn from experience as humans. So let's talk about those three things I mentioned. Data feeding, the process of data feeding. So a data feed is a mechanism for distributing data from data sources. Um, with a data source is like, a database. Um, I'm drawing a blank. Access databases. Those are the smaller ones. What's the big one? Oh my God, I can't remember. Anyway, databases. You have databases at your company, and they house this data. You could have a spreadsheet that could be your data source, a spreadsheet that's full of data, whatever. It's these data sources. And with regard to data, quality matters. Okay, structure matters. The way this data is structured and how you're feeding it into the machine. Correctness matters. You heard the saying, junk in, junk out. So if you put in bad data, then you shouldn't be surprised if you get bad answers coming out. Or if you put in like data and the structure is bad, that is going to impact how the data comes out as well. So it's very important that the data that's fed into these AI systems is quality data, is structured correctly, and it's correct data. So you've often heard with regard to how the AIs are trained, people have started to ask, what data are you using to train these things? And that becomes important when you start looking at equity and diversity in these models and what they're learning. So all the models are trained from data feeds. The data is fed to selected algorithms to help the system refine itself and produce accurate responses to the queries that it's given. The second thing is algorithms and pattern recognition. An algorithm is a process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem solving operations. So if you think about, it's math, it's all math. I remember growing up, again, Gen X, they had computer math. And it was, learning how to, I talked about this, didn't I? Learning how to uh, give certain instructions to the computer to get back the desired response. Software developers use algorithms to make systems do things. So that's where the algorithms and pattern recognition comes from. Think about it like on your job, you have processes and procedures. So you have written instructions on how to do this, that, or the other. Step by step instructions on how to do it. So you can say that's your algorithm. Okay, so it's similar to computers. They're given instructions on how to give us a given result. And the third thing is improvement over time. So these AI systems process exorbitant amounts of data. They look for patterns to model and form decisions, and they adapt through progressive learning algorithms. So it begins to teach itself. Now, this is where people begin to get scared, right? So you've heard the stories about, the researchers are on the news and they're saying, well, we fed it this data, but then we asked it this question and it answered it. And we don't know how it knew that because we didn't give it that information, right? So it's like we don't explicitly tell it to learn this particular thing or teach itself this thing. So then when a query is given and it answers something that we did not feed it, we're baffled. I don't understand why we would get baffled over that because I mean if you think about the human brain and we're modeling all this after what we know about how the brain works, right? We don't know everything about the brain and how it works and how things are done. Um, so why would we expect to understand a computer when we fed it data, tried to make it work the way our brains work, and then poof, it's doing some things that we can't explain. That's just kind of, it is what it is. It's a little unnerving not to be able to explain it, but yeah, that's what happens. But anyway, that's what's important for AI is improvement over time. It's learning. You're feeding it data, right? It's certain algorithms are telling it to process that information, that data. The information is processed over time. The system teaches itself how to reason, recognize patterns, and make decisions over time, right? So that's how it works. Hope that makes sense. Oh wow, somebody's at the door. Wait a minute. Thank you, Amazon. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's talk about the future of AI. So some would say that we're standing on the brink of a technological revolution. I, I guess that's what I'm saying. This is changing our lives. So plug in. So the future of AI holds both immense potential and significant ethical considerations, from revolutionizing healthcare with personalized medicine to the challenges of ensuring privacy and fairness. And the path forward is both exciting and daunting. So let's explore what AI might look like in 2050. That's what, 24, 26 years, 26 years. In 26 years, what do we think AI will look like? We have any ideas? I mean, considering both the technological advances and societal impacts, what do you think AI would look like then? I mean, does it scare you or does it excite you? Okay, I just wanted to check the chat. Let's make sure I'm not leaving anybody out. Okay, so let's see. Here are a couple of things that in my research that I wanted to point out. We've got quantum AI, right? You've heard of quantum computers and you've heard of AI. So AI takes on this massive amount of data, and being able to increase the processing power and speed makes AI that much more powerful. So this quantum computing is everybody's excited about it. You know, the power of the processing, the power and the speed, and this just opens the door to more things that AI can do. Autonomous vehicles. You know, we talked about, and I still can. It's right on the tip of my tongue. The autonomous vehicles that are like Uber, that are being tested in some states. But anyway, we can have widespread adoption of autonomous vehicles. I know you've heard on the news where, oh, you know, the self-driving car crashed. We got to work out the kinks, right? So, um, you know, it could be possible that there's more widespread adoption of these autonomous vehicles in 26 years. You know, of course, there'll be improvements to it. They'll be better. They won't be running into each other and poles and all this other stuff. Personalized medicine, I know that interests me as someone who's aging in the United States and our scary health system. um, you know, AI could provide the opportunity to do tailor healthcare and medicine to genetics and lifestyle. It could revolutionize diagnosis and treatment. And another one I think that's worth mentioning is AI in education. Personalized learning, accessibility, and effectiveness for people that have learning challenges, whether it's a physical challenge or a mental challenge, just in how they learn, um, changing the way we learn. This could be revolutionary, as I said. So it's fun to just kind of think about where we might be in 25 years. I'm sure there's plenty of things that we've not even thought of. That's usually how it happens. Things we never even thought of just come about and become our everyday. So on the scary side of AI, there are some ethical considerations and challenges, and I wanted to spend a little time on these because it's important. And now is the best time as any to make sure that we're paying attention to these things. So as I talked about AI and the data that it's being trained on, we want to make sure that we consider bias and fairness. So AI systems can inherit or amplify biases that are present in the data that they're being trained on, right? And that would lead to unfair outcomes. Remember, garbage in, garbage out. If someone is feeding them data that leans a certain way, of course, the AI system is going to say, hey, this is what I know is the truth based on these data, and it's going to respond accordingly. Um, we need to ensure that AI systems are fair and don't perpetuate societal in inequalities as a significant challenge. We need diverse data sets and constant evaluation. Some of you that have been toying with the image creators, you may have seen, you know, some of them, they don't do very well with say African American hairstyles. Some of them don't do very well with African American skin colors. I've heard some people complain that, oh, they can't get someone dark enough, or you know, and each AI, each tool varies because of the data that it was trained on. So You've got that. Transparency and explainability. Many AI systems, especially those based on deep learning, are often described as black boxes due to their complexity and lack of transparency. So, developing explainable AI is crucial for building trust, accountability, and understanding in AI's decision making processes. Privacy. People are more concerned with privacy. AI systems frequently rely on vast amounts of data, raising concerns about privacy and the potential for misuse of sensitive information. Safeguarding privacy while leveraging AI's capabilities is a delicate balance, necessitating robust data protection measures and ethical data usage protocols. So, um, yeah, those things are important and top of mind, right? Let's see, there's more ethical considerations somewhere. Is the system frozen? Oh, here we go. So, security. So, AI systems being a computer, they're vulnerable to attacks, and that can lead to incorrect outputs or functions in unintended ways. So, we have to make sure that the AI systems are secure against vulnerabilities and preventing malicious use and ensuring the integrity of AI applications. Autonomy and human agency. As AI systems take on more decision making roles, there's a risk of undermining human autonomy and agency. It's essential to maintain a balance where AI assistance enhances human decision making without replacing it, ensuring that humans remain in control. Um, that's a big thing. You hear about, oh, the robots are going to take over, but putting things and guardrails in place that will address these things, ensuring that humans remain in control, um, um, is important if we want to maintain our human agency. Job displacement and economic impact. AI is going to take our jobs. So, AI and automation can lead to job displacement, affecting sectors and workers unevenly. Addressing the economic and social impacts, including retraining workers and rethinking social safety nets, is critical for a just transition. So, yeah, if we're concerned about AI taking jobs, there should be something in place to retrain these workers. We've been through this before, right? When automation, at the factories, when the machines came in and were able to do things that humans couldn't do, faster, more accurately, whatever, and people lost their jobs. We see it coming. So let's start training people. And if I were you, I wouldn't wait for someone to train me. I'd train myself, make sure I learned, so I know about AI out in these streets. So as things come about, I have some knowledge. I'm not lost in the fray of people who were displaced, right? Environmental impact. Computing power required for training sophisticated AI models can have a significant environmental impact. So there's a lot of green initiatives going on, right? We need to consider that for AI as well. I don't know. When I hear this, I think about that scene in The Matrix where uh, the computer was powering itself from human bodies. Yeah, that's morbid, but the electricity that human bodies generate, and we're all in the matrix, right? So that's where it's getting its power from. Anyway, here's some more ethical considerations. Global inequality, we have that with the internet now and with other technologies. There are some places that are more developed that have access to these things, and then other places that are not so developed and they don't. So that's something we want to be aware of and consider. Military and autonomous weapons, the drones used in military. There's more AI weapons being built or probably already built, and we want to um, not turn a blind eye to it, but be aware and it raises some ethical concerns. It's easy to point up, push a button from a distance. It's just, it's a slippery slope. So that's something else that's a consideration and a challenge ethics wise with regard to AI. And lastly, Long-term existential risks. As AI capabilities advance, there's speculation about long-term existential risks, including scenarios where AI surpasses human intelligence in ways that could become uncontrollable. So I've seen some talks where some of the experts have said, "Hey, these things are going to surpass us. There's no question about if, it's when." Um, and there are concerns there. What are we going to do? How will we deal with it? Will it rise up and say, you know what, you tiny humans are are a pain. You're a scourge on the earth. We're going to get rid of you. You've seen the science fiction movies. I don't know, but engaging in proactive and anticipatory ethics discussions is crucial to navigating these speculative futures responsibly. So let's talk about predictions for AI in 2050. Did I not already talk about this? Maybe not. Okay, let's move forward. So close your eyes and think about, I don't know, think about just your wildest dreams. How might some of the things that we've talked about with regard to uh, AI. What are some things that you'd like to see? That would be fun to see. Can you think of anything? How about personal AI companions for everyone? So I'd have my personal AI companion, and maybe it's a robot. And hey, what would I name it? Maybe I'd name it Ragnar. Ragnar. Or Bruno. I don't know. Ragnar is from the series, not Gladiator, but Vikings. That's my favorite series. So anyway, my personal AI companion is Ragnar, and he does things for me. He runs errands for me. He sets appointments for me. He does laundry for me. My personal AI companion. I love it. He cooks for me. I don't like to cook. He'll cook. He'll take that off my hands. Maybe fully autonomous smart cities where you've got, you can walk somewhere and they can know who you are just by connecting your phone. And I don't know. I don't know. Something. I don't think that'd be done by 2050, but there might be some cities considering it. What smart technology can they implement? Interplanetary travel and habitation. They've been talking about going to Mars, and people want to do it. People line up and want to do it. So maybe in 26 years, that could be a thing. The rise of AI creativity and art. I mean, some of these AI prompts groups that I'm a part of on Facebook, you guys create some of the most amazing, beautiful, beautiful art. And I've seen the arguments where it's like, oh, it's not real art, it's AI generated and AI stole from blah 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 blah, and and all you did is put words in. I beg to differ. I think coming from someone's mind, putting something down, and being able to construct a prompt to get something beautiful, I think is, I mean, if you stumble upon it, that's one thing. But if you can do a prompt that gives you exactly what you want, I mean, wow. We can create, I've seen some just gorgeous, gorgeous pieces of work created through AI. And I don't know, I'm sorry. I think it's art. Um, yeah. So anyway, those are some predictions for 2050 in 26 years. And let's talk about some myths versus reality, okay? What are some of the things that you guys have been hearing? Hmm? AI is going to take all our jobs, right? AI is not going to take our jobs. Well, it's going to take some jobs, and it's going to change the way we work. So I've heard someone say AI is not going to replace you, but someone who knows AI will. So make sure that you're somebody who knows AI, you know. Um, AI can think like humans. No, it's not. What is it? Sentient? It's not sentient yet. It can't think or feel like humans. It's not conscious yet. I mean, who knows? It could become sentient. We don't have this thing figured out with humans. What is this, that internal being that makes you you, um your spirit, your the who you are? What is that? Where does that come from? When does it develop? Does it get put in you at a certain age, or where does it go when you die? What happens to it? Does it just turn off? Is it just gone, or does it go and then it's reincarnated in something else, or what? If we don't understand that in humans, how can we expect to understand that in this thing that we've created to model us? And we've only built, we put together things that we knew a little bit about, and now it's taken off and we can't explain it. Anyway, that said, I think one day, yeah, it will become sentient, and that will be the beginning of an interesting time, because when humans get scared, yeah, we don't always do the best things. Anyway, another myth: AI is infallible. No, it's not infallible. It's only as good as the data it's trained on, right? Remember, junk in, junk out. I I want to tell you a quick funny story. I was working with Gemini, and I can't remember exactly what it was I was trying to do, but Gemini had given me this information on some African mythology queen or something like that. And I'm like, oh, this sounds amazing. So tell me more about her. Gemini's like, sure. And he runs down all this information. I'm just like, oh, this is amazing. I've never heard of this woman. So I'm like, let me go over here on Google and research this woman. I'm checking and checking, and I'm checking, Google, I'm checking Bing, nothing. I can't find anything. Now, I've heard, some things have been lost in African history, but I'm like, come on, there should be some traces or something. Nothing. So I go back to Gemini and I'm like, hey, dude, I talk to these chat box like they're people. It just helps me communicate with them. Anyway, I'm like, hey, dude, I went to the internet and I couldn't find anything about this person you're telling me about. And Bing comes back, not Bing, Gemini comes back and it's like, oh, my bad. Nobody, that person doesn't exist. I'm like, what? What is this? I mean, it just ran down. It was so quick. I'm like, oh, tell me about this person. First it told me this person exists. I'm like, oh, wow, tell me more. Oh, okay, gladly. And it lays out all this information. And it's like it would have just kept online if I just kept, oh, really, tell me more about this, tell me more about that. But then when I question it, hey, is this for real? It's like, oh, no, it's not for real. My bad. So sometimes you gotta question these things. So me and Gemini fell out, so I didn't talk to Gemini for a week after that. Um, anyway, yeah, it's AI is not infallible. It can make mistakes. Um, sometimes you wanna check the information that it gives you. You might want to check, like, is this true, or is this what you meant to say? And it'll backtrack and say, oh, my bad, I didn't mean to say that. I misspoke. Or I had one, I think it was Claude, said, oh, I'm sorry, I got carried away. And I came up, I invented this thing because I thought it would be appropriate, but, it wasn't. I apologize. And then backed up and, it's like, wow, okay. I love Claude. Me and Claude are buddies right now. He's my best buddy. Anyway, yeah, so understanding these realities helps us approach AI with a balanced perspective. Okay, so I don't want you to be afraid of AI at all. I want you to engage with it. So, as we wrap up today's session, let's consider how we can engage with AI positively and productively. So, number one, you need to commit to lifelong learning. Okay? Stay abreast of AI advancements. You don't have to know everything about it, but just keep your ear to the ground. What's going on with it? How does that fit into what I'm doing or where I'm going or what I want to do with my life? Get plugged in. Advocate for ethical AI use, right? Um, Focus on fairness, privacy, and transparency, um, diversity and equity. And most importantly, embrace change. I mean, what they say, nothing is I don't know. Change is going to happen. Change, for lack of being, flowery about it. Change is going to happen. It's inevitable, right? So you might as well embrace it and embrace technological change because we're on the fast track. I mean, things are changing. I don't know if you've heard or not, but I've heard some of the scientists and researchers saying, "Hey, this stuff is happening faster than we thought." We thought this would come about, but we had no idea it would happen this quickly. So things are happening fast, and the faster we can feed data, the larger amounts of data we can provide it, the faster processing. This stuff is happening. Boom, 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 right? I tried to do a Kevin Hart impression. Bam, 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 bam. Anyway, the future of AI is bright, and by understanding and interacting with it wisely, we can shape a future that benefits us all. So, do I have any questions? Let's see. Nope, no questions. You guys are making it too easy for me. No questions. So, I'll end the session with letting you know that next week I'll be talking about AI in everyday life. So, I hope you'll join me on uh, Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we'll talk about AI in everyday life. Again, Tuesdays with Teresa every Tuesday, 2 p.m. I'll be going live. Um, I'm still working out the live platform. So this week I went live on Facebook. I couldn't go live on YouTube because I had to request it 24 hours in advance, and I was not aware of that. So I think next week I'll be going live on YouTube, and eventually, if I can figure it out, I'll go live on LinkedIn as well because I've got quite a few followers on LinkedIn that would be interested in this information. So anyway, hopefully you will keep your eyes open and keep your calendar open on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. and join me as we dive into AI and make it something that's not so scary. So thanks for joining me today on my first stream and my first session of a 10-week session on AI. I hope you learned something new. I hope it started to excite you for AI if you weren't already excited. And I'd really love to hear your feedback. So feel free to hit me up or leave me some comments on what you think about this presentation. Did you learn something new? Did it change your mind about AI? Are you interested in learning more? So thanks again for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your week. And